All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We are looking at the dramatic origin of one story that, honestly, completely rewired the landscape of modern television. Yeah, we're talking about Breaking Bad. Today we're unpacking exactly how creator Vince Gilligan engineered a virtually perfect hour of television just to introduce us to Walter White.
I mean, how do you go from a mild-mannered high school teacher to a criminal standing in the desert in his underwear? It's a wild question, right? To hook us, the creators decided to start the narrative in medias res, which is really just a fancy literary term for dropping us right into the middle of the action. You're immediately confronted with a situation so utterly bizarre and high stakes that you basically have no choice but to keep watching just to figure out what the heck is going on.
Just picture this opening. You've got these oversized khaki pants literally flying through the air, landing on a dirt road. Then, a frantic man wearing nothing but tighty-whities and a gas mask crashes a giant RV into a ditch. Inside, there's another guy passed out in a mask and two bodies just sliding around in some mysterious liquid in the back. The driver stumbles out, grabs a camcorder, and records this desperate, cryptic farewell to his wife and son. We end this frantic opening with Walter White standing on a dirt road, pistol raised, just waiting for the approaching sound of sirens.
Section 1. The Study of Change. So, to make sense of all that desert chaos, we actually flash back 3 weeks. And what's amazing here is how Walt's own classroom lectures serves as the absolute thematic thesis for the entire episode. Actually, scratch that, for the entire series. When Walt introduces chemistry to his students, he's not just talking about molecules and elements. He's talking about the human condition. He describes it as the cycle of solution and dissolution, growth, then decay, then transformation. It is a brilliant piece of foreshadowing, practically telling us exactly what we're about to witness.
Let's look at the matter of Walt's life before the catalyst hits. His 50th birthday perfectly captures his deeply emasculating, mundane routine. He starts the day exercising while looking at a plaque for his past Nobel Prize contributing research, only to come down to a plate of sad veggie bacon spelling out 50. He teaches high schoolers who couldn't care less. He works a demeaning second job at a car wash where his boss literally forces him outside to scrub cars, and he even gets mocked by one of his own students. Then, to cap off the whole miserable day, at his own surprise party, all the attention is stolen by his boisterous DEA agent brother-in-law Hank. Walt's life is entirely static. He is well and truly stuck in a state of decay.
Section 2. The Ultimate Catalyst.
Now, like Walt said, every chemical reaction requires a spark. And for our guy, that spark was a brutal double whammy. Out of nowhere at the car wash, Walt collapses. He wakes up in a doctor's office only to be handed an absolute death sentence. Inoperable lung cancer, maybe 2 years to live. And how does he react? He's eerily detached. He just points out a mustard stain on the doctor's coat. It's like the fear that has paralyzed him his entire life suddenly evaporates because honestly, the absolute worst thing that could possibly happen to him just did.
Then comes the second part of the catalyst. Back at his birthday party, Hank had shown off a local TV news report covering a meth lab bust, casually mentioning they confiscated about $700,000. Think about that for a second. For a man with a baby on the way, a son with cerebral palsy, a terrible teaching salary, and now a terminal diagnosis, seeing that massive pile of cash plants a highly dangerous idea in his head. So he takes Hank up on an offer to do a DEA ride-along.
Section 3. A volatile partnership.
This brings us to the human elements that, when you smash them together, create an unstoppable chain reaction. During that DEA ride-along, Walt stays in the car, but he spots a familiar face sneaking out a second-story window next door. It's Jesse Pinkman, a former student who totally flunked his chemistry class. The contrast here is just incredible. You've got Walt's pristine scientific background and urgent need for cash right up against Jesse's messy street hustle and his signature, but totally garbage chili pea meth. They are complete opposites, but they have exactly what the other needs.
The way Walt initiates this partnership is crucial. He tracks Jesse down that night and essentially blackmails him. He lays it out plain and simple. Jesse lost his partner to the DEA, lost his money, and lost his lab. Walt offers his expertise to cook a chemically pure product, but he gives Jesse a really stark choice. Partner up, or he turns him in.
Section 4. The red phosphorus reaction.
Okay, so the partnership is set. Let's walk through the physical transformation of these two as they prep for their very first cook. Walt's leap into the criminal underworld is fascinating because it's so bizarre, yet hyper-calculated. First, he steals heavy-duty chemistry gear right out of his own school.
Then, he empties his entire life savings so Jesse can buy a beat-up RV. They drive out to the secluded Tohaji-Lee Desert, and finally, in this highly logical but totally absurd visual, Walt strips down to his underwear and hangs his clothes on the side mirrors so he won't smell like chemicals when he goes home to his family. It's the perfect collision of his domestic paranoia and his brand-new criminal enterprise.
But, the street-level reality quickly crashes into Walt's controlled little environment. Jesse brings skeptical dealers Crazy 8 and Emilio to the RV. Now, Emilio is out on bail, and things escalate rapidly because he recognizes Walt from the DA raid. Believing Walt's an informant, they threaten him. To make matters worse, Emilio absent-mindedly flicks a cigarette out the window, starting a literal brush fire. Walt, thinking on his feet, manages to barter for his life by promising to teach them his ultra-pure formula.
And this right here perfectly illustrates Walt's ultimate weapon. It's not a gun, it's his mind. Once inside the RV, he pretends to start the cooking process. But instead, he tosses red phosphorus into hot water, creating a blinding fireball and a deadly toxic gas. Walt dives out, holding the door shut while his captors are overcome by the lethal vapor inside. It is a stunning, brutal display of Walt weaponizing his professional chemistry expertise just to survive.
Section 5. Designing the drama.
Let's pivot for a second, because the behind-the-scenes production of this Explainer's Focus is packed with amazing what-if trivia. For instance, did you know the show was originally supposed to be set in Riverside, California? Local tax incentives actually pushed production to Albuquerque, New Mexico, which fundamentally shaped the gritty, sun-baked vibe of the entire series. Also, Walt was originally written as a 40-year-old, but network executives pushed it to 50, feeling 40 was just way too young for this level of midlife crisis. And get this, studio execs initially wanted John Cusack or Matthew Broderick for the role. No way, right? They passed, which paved the way for Bryan Cranston to deliver the absolute performance of a lifetime.
The pacing of this origin story is super interesting too. The uncensored pilot actually runs for a full 58 minutes, making it the longest episode of the entire series. That extended runtime gave Vince Gilligan the breathing room to pace Walt's transformation perfectly. They even had a real, actual DEA agent on set just to ensure the chemistry and the drug lab mechanics were meticulously accurate.
Section 6. Full circle.
All right, let's bring this whole narrative right back to where we started, that chaotic, pants-flying desert scene. After the explosion, Walt frantically tries to put out the brush fire, pulls a knocked-out Jesse into the passenger seat, and crashes the RV into the ditch. So there he is, standing on the road, gun raised, hearing those sirens approaching. He attempts to shoot himself, but darkly, the safety is on. And then, the ultimate dramatic irony hits. Those sirens? They aren't the cops coming to arrest him for murder and drug manufacturing. They are just fire trucks responding to the brush fire Emilio started. The authorities aren't actually coming for him at all.
Which leaves us with a pretty massive question to ponder. In a story completely obsessed with the cycle of growth, decay, and transformation, what do those impending sirens truly signal for Walter White's future? I mean, sure, they were just fire trucks on this particular day, but metaphorical sirens are going to be chasing Walter White from this moment forward. His decay has ended and his dangerous, inescapable transformation into a criminal mastermind has officially begun. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this breakdown helped you appreciate the absolute genius behind the dramatic origin of this iconic story.